Hello. There is perfection in imperfection, and imperfection in perfection. It's all perception. When we blame things outside of ourselves for our problems, we're disempowering ourselves. Effectively, what we're doing when we're blaming something or someone, whether it be a situation, an object in nature, or another human being, we're saying that I don't need to change, it's you that needs to change. You're the one that's done something wrong. And you're making my life worse. That's a perception that there's imperfection in this moment right now. I remember hearing at the train station the other day, an announcement came on and it said, this particular train is not going to run today. And there was a gentleman that just walked past me at a timely moment said something that I really appreciated. I'm really glad I overheard it. Once that announcement was finished, he said, and that means I'm going to be late for work. Effectively, what he was doing was blaming the scenario, for his situation. If it wasn't for that train being late, I wouldn't, or not arriving, I wouldn't be late for work today. And then it's an easy one to fall into as human beings because so many other human beings do it. It's hard to change, it's hard to be different, but it can be done. When we come up against a trial or a tribulation in our lives, instead of viewing it as negative, instead of wanting change, wanting that person, wanting that situation to change, we can just see it for what it is. And that is a lesson. We can see the underlying meaning in the situation, in that person's reaction to us. And when we see the meaning, when we look for the meaning, we're effectively finding the positive in the situation. Because where there is meaning, there is positivity. What is the meaning of this person yelling at me? What is the meaning of my train being late? What is the meaning of my constantly being sick? There are meanings behind all of these hardships. And in fact, I remember hearing it said that these bad feelings, these bad situations that we go through are predominantly our teachers in this life. They are our main teachers in this life. And ideas and dogma are just that. They're not really teachers. We have to go through suffering to learn. And so when we can approach each and every situation with more consciousness, we can see the meaning, the positivity in every situation. And when we see the meaning, we can see that everything is there for a reason. And in fact, everything comes from this place of love, because we can learn from everything. And some would debate that, and that's fine. I don't mind. It's definitely up for debate. Because it's all down to where we're perceiving from or what we're perceiving. Someone could debate something other than what I'm saying, and they would be right too. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. This feeling of underlying meaning behind everything makes life so much easier to live. And I remember hearing an enlightened master teacher, I believe he was alive in the 50s and 60s, a gentleman with the surname Krishnamurti, and he was from, India, Pakistan, that part of the world. I'm not exactly sure what ethnicity it was, it doesn't really matter. But he was coming to the end of his life and his teachings, and I remember hearing this in one of Eckhart Tolle's books. He referenced Krishnamurti, and he said that Krishnamurti, in one of his talks, said, okay, I'm going to share with you the main idea behind all of my teachings, the main understandings behind all of my teachings, the main teaching. And so all of his followers were hanging upon his every word. Some of them had been following him for 30 years and they still had not grasped the essence of his teachings. And what he said was one simple line: I don't mind much what happens. Now, that would mystify most people. How can you not mind what happens? How do you get to that point where bad things don't matter to you anymore, good things don't matter to you anymore? What we perceive as good and bad with our minds, It's not necessarily good or bad. Nothing has an intrinsic meaning, whether it be good or bad. Seemingly. But our minds say, that's good, that's bad, end of story. And so we feel bad when bad things happen to us. We feel good when good things happen to us. But where Krishnamurti was in a place where he saw the underlying meaning behind everything. And he saw that although he might feel bad because of a specific scenario that occurred to him in his material life, or maybe not, maybe just emotionally he wasn't feeling good on the day. I know I go through that often. He realized that there was a meaning behind that, and that it was something he was supposed to be experiencing, and that ultimately it was going to benefit him. Because these bad feelings, these bad situations are our best teachers, are our only teachers. It just shows you that, you can't really classify them as bad inherently. Under everything else, if you strip away all of the material situation and you see what's at the core of that trial, that tribulation, that suffering that we're going through, it's teaching. And so it's love. It's good. At its core, it's good. If we take away all of our feelings about it, we just see it for what it is. And then you've got the opposite side of that. There's things that come into our lives, like positive relationships, like positive scenarios, and you see them there right in front of you. This is so much easier for the mind to comprehend. They are love, they are positive, they are good, and they make us feel that way. And so that's so easy to come to terms with. But it's those negative things that we come across in our lives that we find it difficult to reconcile. But if we can find the meaning behind it, if we can find the teaching behind it, we can reconcile that. And as we become good at reconciling those difficult situations, life just becomes so much easier. The fear, the angst that goes along with day-to-day life for many, many people, that comes along in day-to-day life for many, many people rather, that dissipates, because we can, as we see the meaning, the sting of that situation dissolves. And so when we don't label it as bad anymore, it's not bad. And our egos don't get hurt by that person yelling at us, by our train being late, by our food not tasting so good. We just take it in, we take in the experience, and we say, what have I learnt from this? What is the underlying meaning? we get really good at it, it just doesn't matter anymore. And we get to where Krishnamurti was. I don't mind much what happens. And in that place, love is a constant. And fear and anxiety is at least greatly diminished, if not completely gone. Now, I may not come to that place in my lifetime, but I might. You might. You can. It's possible, but we have to strip ourselves back from what we think we are, and we have to let go of what we think we are and allow ourselves to change. It's possible. Thank you.